Hey everyone, it's VHS Massacre Radio. I am your host, Tom Seymour.
The other host, James Richardson, in the house.
Yes, we're back from a pretty long hiatus.
Was it like a year?
Yeah. Hopefully not that long.
It's been a while. Though.
I try to post clips maybe like once a month, just of updates and things like that.
Yeah, I haven't been doing jack. So you've been better at this than I have been.
Yeah, but it's been a while since we had like an official show. And so there's been some pretty cool updates. So last time we had the show, it was sort of dual purpose. We were doing some stuff for the new movie, VHS Massacre 2, the new documentary. Right. But then we were also, just having conversations about the state of the film industry. And so one of the things I finally have results from is, you remember we were talking about how, let's say Amazon Prime and streaming services like Netflix, like what can an independent filmmaker actually make out of that? So what I had done, I guess it was about 4 or 5 months ago, was I put 2 of my older films, Everything Moves Alone, which was a 90-minute feature-length film shot on 16mm, sort of a la Clerks type comedic drama.
That was a few years back when you shot that.
Yeah, I mean, we shot probably in 99, right?
Wow.
So I was like a child, essentially. It was like 20 or something.
I sent you that link that I found London Betty, one of your old movies on Amazon Prime a while back.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay,
you didn't
cool.
see I posted that on like Facebook or Instagram, one of the two, because I was like up late one night and I was just basically kind of flicking through, and all of a sudden it popped up London Betty. I was like, holy.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, dude, I know that dude.
Well, it got yanked. I don't know if you know that, but it got deleted. So I don't know.
Wow.
Very recently, it got yanked off. So
okay.
So it was. At least you saw it before it got removed.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so the other movie I put on Amazon Prime was this movie called Land of College Prophets, which came out in 2005, was in all the video stores, movie galleries, and Hollywood Video, and was released in 10 different countries, right?
Actually, it was a very cool poster, by the way. The poster that you had for that.
Oh, yeah, the guys at B-Movie Mania helped me do that. Or they actually did it because they had found a DVD of Land of College Prophets in like a deals and discount or something like that. Oh, no, Dollar Tree.
Okay.
Dollar Tree. They found it and they watched it and they reviewed it. And so that actually made me think, maybe I'll try to get these on Prime.
Yeah.
So the reason why I got them on Prime is sort of dual purpose for myself personally. I mean, to get it on a premium streaming site, but also to track what can you actually make. So what I did was I used my network. I would say my network is about 5,000 people. There's something about 2,500 Podbean subscribers. It's about 2,000 Twitter. There's about 2,000 Facebook. And then other miscellaneous is maybe like another 300.
Are there a lot of crossover between those, or
probably?
Those,
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna round up and say, because that's, actually rounding down to maybe about 5,000. Even though if you really totaled it, it'd probably be 7 or 8. So whatever that overlap is, I have no idea. But the point is, like, upon release, I would post new trailers. I would post on through all the pages of all the films I've ever done, including the VHS Massacre page, and would tweet about them. And so, would you like to guess how much money I made off of both films collectively for a quarter? I mean, a quarter of a year,
I don't know, $50, $60?
$15.
Damn. I almost...
$15. And I think...
So just padding that retirement fund.
Yeah, and I had to pay for the closed captioning, which was like $300 or something like that. So, in that, I forget exactly what that equates to.
That equates to shit. It's just...
I think you get a quarter for every hour they watch,
Wow.
So, look, I'm not saying... We were just talking about this, like...
I didn't know it was that bad. I mean, I no, seriously, I thought it'd be, that's harsh.
Yeah, it's not great. And you can certainly blame my Well, whatever, like the smallness of my network. But I guess, I would say that it's actually more difficult now to sort of monetize your.
I'm
fan
sorry,
base.
but even if you blow up your network, let's say you estimated 5,000 people. Let's say you times that by 10.
Yeah.
That's still $150. That's not. That's.
Yeah, you can't make a move. You can't make a 10. On the very low budget side for features, people do them for about 10 grand. That's very bare bones. You're never going to see that.
You're never going to make your money back. So, and one of the other things I'm noticing is a lot of these streaming services, especially like Prime now, they're really pushing like a lot of their original content. And what we're also seeing is that there's a huge uptick again in piracy because there's more and more people or as all of these companies start putting up these paywalls. I mean, you got like, for me, it's like the DC streaming service. You got this new one by Disney that's going to have all the Marvel and Star Wars content. You have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and they have like, some of them have, not to mention like HBO and all the other ones who have like great 1 or 2 shows that you really want to see, but not too much else.
Yep.
So, if you sign up with all of these services, you're going to be like pretty much once again back in those old cable prices.
Yeah. Yeah, and then a lot of people are still doing the cable thing on top of
right.
it,
So what you're seeing is a lot of people basically starting to pirate stuff. I mean, I've seen all of the DC streaming stuff, and I'm not advocating piracy, and I'm not saying that I do it, but I've come across all of the DC streaming shows like Doom Patrol or Titans.
Well, some of that stuff will come up in a Google search. Like I remember back in the day, torrenting stuff would pop up just to Google something.
Right, but
so
Google got rid of a lot of that. They started basically getting rid of the location of a lot of the torrent stuff. Like the Star Trek series, which is actually better than I thought it was going to be. The new one, Star Trek Discovery. That's the only thing that's on CBS that anyone wants to see.
Yeah, and I don't want to.
I don't want to pay $6-7 for it.
If they make a Blu-ray, I'll buy it. Give me the season 1 on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's out, but I would do that.
Or if they released everything at one time so that you can binge watch it for a month and be done.
Yeah,
but
sure.
They're not doing it.
I'd pay $20 to watch the season.
Seriously, same here.
I just don't want to sign up. In doing that, I don't want to sign up for. I don't want it as like an addition on my Amazon account.
Right.
Like I don't want that. So that gets a little.
The piracy start, and especially now more and more people getting VPNs, virtual private networks that basically kind of cloak their IP addresses. That makes it easier to do torrenting or less likely that you're going to get flagged. More and more people are starting to torrent again. And for a long time, you saw a serious downturn in the amount of people doing piracy.
It's also on that subject matter because streaming makes so little money now. There is this push to some degree for physical media. Like for the new doc, I talked to this guy Sean C. Phillips. Right, he's got this YouTube channel called Cool Duder, and his channel very popular. Something like 30 million views, and he basically just mostly talks about physical releases, and the way he describes it, he is that essentially physical media has become a collector's market, and that's actually okay.
I still buy Blu-rays.
Yeah,
I buy like the last couple ones I got was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The Aquaman movie in 3D. And the reason I wanted is to actually physically have the disc. That you kind of have on display, that you kind of have the entire collection of all the 3D Blu-rays for like, the Marvel or DC, at least for me, the Marvel or DC movies.
For me, it's like something like if it's very visually rich, like a Stanley Kubrick film or anything from the 70s that I know.
Oh, you're such a snob.
Well, no, I mean like
you're a film theorist.
Because
purist.
I mean, I like B-movie trash is probably more than you.
Probably.
But
probably.
But what I like about that stuff is what they'll do is they'll go to the negative and they'll retransfer it. So maybe it's some weird movie like The Changeling with George C. Scott, right? But you're seeing it,
Wow.
you're seeing it in HD, and it's gorgeous. You're like, oh my god, I've never seen it like that.
Kind of like what they did with the original Star Trek series. I don't know if you've ever seen the remastered ones.
They're really
Gorgeous.
good looking. Yeah. So that stuff's very exciting, and so I like that aspect of the collector's market. But so this guy, so I should say there's so for VHS Massacre 2, I interviewed 3 people in the last month. One of them, Sean C. Phillips. One of them was James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd himself, and this other guy, J.R. Bookwalter, who his first feature was funded by Sam Raimi. So very interesting stuff. But on what we were talking about with Sean C. Phillips, he had actually used his YouTube channel to become an actor. He would do all these DVD reviews, and every now and then a director would reach out to him and say, hey, thanks for reviewing a film. He would reach back out to them, say, I'm an actor, do you have any parts for me? He basically said he was able to sidestep having an agent.
That's
and being
brilliant.
It's brilliant. He's been in over 130 films, including Sci-Fi Channel stuff, multiple Sci-Fi Channel stuff. He was in Ghost Shark, and I forget this other sci-fi show.
So he has a SAG card and the whole 9 everything now. So I suspect.
Now, I actually don't know. He might be. I don't know. He might be. Well, he might be, yeah.
If he's been in 130 films, I figure he has to be somewhere in that network.
Yeah, I think with some of that stuff, I would imagine some of the sci-fi... He might have been in one of the Sharknadoes. I could be wrong. But, and he's been in a bunch of trauma stuff and all sorts of different... But he likes horror and stuff like that. And, when I interviewed him, he talked about how basically exploitation is actually really important. Like, he basically brought up, the first found footage film is this movie called Cannibal Holocaust. Well, without that film, you really don't have Blair Witch. 'Cause,
really?
Yeah, because it was the origin of the found footage film, where we came across these film reels and we looked at it and oh my god, the cannibal killed these people.
Right.
And then he brings up things like Get Out or Us, like those essentially, those are kind of B-movie plots. Like Get Out is like a horror, like brain transplant.
Yeah.
See,
I'm not big on horror, and I know that must shock you. But the horror films always kind of like, I'm too much of a pussy. Like they always kind of like scared me especially when I was younger. Get Out was one of the last few actual horror films that I actually saw. I still haven't seen Us yet because that looked even more like Get Out was kind of subtle in the horror that was there. Us seemed much more kind of in your face, kind of like.
Yeah, I guess there was more blood and guts and stuff like that.
Yeah. I got to make an appointment to actually see that, but yeah, the horror genre always kind of freaked me out, and I only saw the Blair Witch film because I got dared. It was no, seriously, it was just kind of like everyone had seen it, and it was like, okay, I hadn't seen this yet, and I think if you're going to be like talking about movies, that's one film that you do have to see, especially from an independent or low budget filmmaker standpoint, because they shot that for nothing and just made goo gobs of money off of it.
Oh yeah, and really, like Paranormal Activity was sort of, kind of, in that spirit too, and that was another one they spent very little money on. But that's something too. I was really looking at. It's something that bummed me out recently is that there was this moment in the late '90s. Well, I'd say in the 90s and then in the early 2000s, where someone made a low-budget film, a feature, like, for very cheap, let's say, like, 10 grand or under, that was, like, it was a type of miracle, and miracle is an exaggeration, but that's literally what they said about El Mariachi. They called it a miracle,
right.
And given that was excellent film, that's part of the reason. And not all these low-budget ones are excellent, but the thing is, there was this thirst for low-budget content, and it was sort of like, I always saw it like, hey, the difficulty rating of 10, right? Try to make a feature for nothing. And so I was always fascinated by these no-budget features. I was like, show me these. I want to see what you can do for nothing. But it doesn't seem like the contemporary audience, especially the young audience, cares about any of that shit.
And you would kind of hope that they would, largely because of the fact that the digital technology has made filming so much cheaper in this day and age. And I wouldn't say that they don't care about it. I think to a large extent they may just have a different focus.
More of a YouTube personality type.
Right. It's a different genre. Instead of telling like more featured stories or even short story forms, it's more kind of, reality TV or, social media influencers, looking at other people's lives from outside looking in. And they eat that content up because,
Yeah, well, that's a good point. So because they don't, if there's a YouTube personality they don't care if no money is spent on. You were just talking about a YouTube personality who just blew up, and their setup is not that impressive.
Well, there's one guy called Charlie Snyder, and he does this YouTube channel called Emergency Awesome, and it's a great channel. He basically reviews all of stuff like Game of Thrones, Doctor Who, all the Marvel and DC TV shows, movies, and stuff like that. A lot of the nerd culture stuff that's kind of hot. He has a pretty mellow setup, and this is one of the things that you're seeing now with a lot of the YouTube influencers is, some of the ones who've really blown up in the last few years, they don't have multi-camera setups. There's a couple who will, but, you can start off and build a really substantial audience with pretty much just your basic knowledge and pretty much basic equipment. And the guy from Emergency Awesome, Charlie Snyder, he has like literally a one camera setup, and he'll cut back and forth between that one camera that's focused on him and clips of trailers or stills from the TV shows or movies that he's discussing. But it's not really, seriously, any first year editing student could pull that show together without any stress.
Oh yeah, and an old trick I used to do back even in like 2006, 2007 was just punching in. Back we were shooting in 1080, not 4K.
Right.
But let's say it's me and you on the couch, and I get a master shot. I can actually punch into a medium, from the footage, and it actually for YouTube it looks fine. So people do that all day long.
And I just want to say, I wasn't dissing Charlie. His site is excellent, and the content that he cranks out at least 2 to 3, sometimes 2 videos a day, 1 to 2 videos a day. So he's cranking out a lot of content, and the only way that he can do that, I suspect, without going crazy, and being able to still watch the shows, is to have a quick, easy setup that's efficient, that allows him to turn around the content very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's true, and you also need that personality type that is in tune with pop culture and that really likes it. Because what I found fatigued on is you're chasing pop culture, and sometimes for me it's just shit that I don't even like. Like I don't want to fucking talk about like
superheroes no more.
No,
talking raccoons.
Yeah, like fucking. I'll see those. I'll see the new Avengers film, but I don't. Do you really need to fucking talk? I don't need to talk about it. And anyway, there are people.
I cannot. All I'm gonna say is I cannot tell you how long I've waited for this new Avengers movie. How I am gassed to see this on Friday.
Yeah,
I was pissed off that I couldn't get decent seats for the Thursday showing, because by the time I got around to getting the tickets, the only seats were literally up at the front of the theater.
I don't like those reserved seats, man. I don't like that shit.
I do.
Really?
Yes. Because it cuts down on so much bullshit, man. I've gotten into fights.
Yeah, I get it. It's like this is my seat I'm sitting.
Right. I've gotten into fights at movie theaters and stuff like that because, you got up, somebody took your seat, and it's like, yo, I was sitting there. It's like, yo, fuck you. You shouldn't have got up.
Yeah, but I guess the thing I don't like is that, if you go and you get these shitty seats and you're sitting there and half the theater's empty.
Right.
You're like, God damn, these motherfuckers. And these, you wait a half hour. You're like, I'm taking these good seats. And then the fuckers show up,
The ones I always take, and this is really bad, I always take the handicap seats because they're usually toward the back of the theater.
Oh,
dead
those are nice
center,
seats, yeah.
awesome seats. And if they're not there by like the first 20 minutes, they ain't coming. I'm sorry.
No, of course not. Yeah.
So I'll wait in my regular seat, and as soon as I see that they ain't coming, I'm right there, man.
Yeah. Well, that's you're not. That's fine. Like the no one's.
Yeah, I know, but
it's not like you'd be like, "Fuck you, buddy."
Walk you.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is. The thing is, it is fascinating as far as like some of the shifting content.
You got your Christmas tree still up? I just noticed that.
Yeah, that's a Stephanie Perez thing. She calls it a holiday tree.
I gotta ask her about that. It's like,
yeah.
I'm sitting there like as we're talking. I was like, holy shit, there's a star on a tree over there.
She fooled me into believing that it was a Latina thing, and everyone's like, no, it's not. Stephanie's giving me this stare right now. She's looking at me. Okay, she popped back out. Anyway,
if you get kicked out, you can't sleep on my couch. That's all I got to say.
Thanks.
No, you can come.
But Anyway, so now another person we got into the documentary is James Rolfe. We hit on him briefly before, but he is someone who actually was able to sort of use his YouTube celebrity to gain financing for his first film. So he did the Angry Video Game.
You talked about him before.
The movie, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's something that's like this unusual angle where your fame is actually from YouTube, but you managed to roll that into an independent film career. So that's another angle. Not quite the same as Sean Phillips, but this guy James Rolfe is fascinating. He's been making movies similar to me. He was making movies with Super 8 cameras when he was like 12.
Wow.
And he similar to the time that I had some success with Black 20. He just struck gold, and he's been riding ever since. So this is like a YouTube personality who hit probably heavy in 2007 maybe.
Wow. So before it really blew up.
Yeah. And he's just been riding it the whole time. Still does it. Still makes his living off of YouTube and the Angry Video Game Nerd series,
But have you just talked to any of them about like the change in the business model? Like one of the things a few years back, YouTube changed their subscription model, where they demonetized a whole bunch of the lower end people just right out.
Yep.
Do they ever really have a backup plan in terms of other streaming services or other platforms in the event that the YouTube train kind of dries up?
It's a good question. I mean, I know that James Rolfe had, he was doing, I think Screw Attack was possibly sponsoring his videos for a long time.
They don't do anything like Twitch or anything like that? Because that's one of the things I've seen with a lot of the influencers who do like video game stuff, is that they'll do a lot more on Twitch than YouTube.
That's a good question, yeah. I don't know. I'd actually have to look that up.
And all of them now, and one of the things I've noticed is like their revenue streams are all multiple. So like they'll have the YouTube monetization. They may be on another platform like Twitch. They all seem to do Patreon now, or Kit, or one of those type of donation sites.
Yep, he's on. Looks like he's on Twitch. I believe so, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the numbers look okay too. Yeah, so I think they probably do diversify. It's weird. I think that this guy's like a tentpole guy. I mean, we were saying it's like.
What do you mean by tentpole?
Well, like he's got. It's like, what is it? 2 million subscribers just on YouTube. Okay. 1.5 billion views just on YouTube. So this is a guy making videos in the billions.
Right.
And so I don't want to say that these guys are immune. I do think that they probably have taken a hit as YouTube has not democratized, but as YouTube has filled up with more creators. It must water down some of the revenue. But he is like one of these people that is at the top. like the epic rap battle people.
Right.
Like,
Or Casey Neistat, and I always use him as an example because he kind of blew up right around that same time, and it was funny because he had been building content for a long while on his own, like these little short, weird, indie, obscure movies that were kind of weird and kind of like just different for the time. But he built up an audience and he was kind of consistent with it, and all of a sudden it was like it clicked. He had like 1 or 2 viral videos that really kind of blew up, and then everyone knew who he was.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I don't think it's really possible to do that today. It's changed significantly.
I think that's true. Yeah. And I think people don't realize too, when you have these hits, these runaway hits, like you have a video. I had a video that it was called PG-300. It did 10 million views.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a mashup of the 300 movie. It's called PG-300.
You never showed that to me. I gotta pick that out.
Oh. Well, the next, I was never able to recreate that. The next most popular was 2 million. Next most popular was 1 million. Okay. And then 500,000. And same thing happened with Gerard Texan, who was in the first VHS Massacre.
Right.
He had gotten this 1 million view video. It's because he labeled it as a Super Bowl commercial, and it was like, whatever.
Right.
He was never able to recreate that. So people don't realize how difficult it is actually to maintain that level of viewership.
See, but that's the thing that trips me out about like the guys from Epic Rap Battle or the guy from Emergency Awesome. Like all of his videos at this point now, he's clocking anywhere between 500,000 to 1 million on each one of the videos, and that trips me out. Especially when they're like 10 minutes long. They all follow within the same type of, like somewhere between 7 to like tops 15 minutes long on TV shows. Stuff that he generally just watches, and it's not complex.
Yeah.
And the dudes who did Epic Rap Battles, that blew me away initially because they shot everything on a green screen. Basic green screen, and
the thing
great concept.
The thing with them is that YouTube started pushing them. So you'd see billboards with Epic Rap Battle people on it. So you do have these things where YouTube will cherry pick people they like and then push them forward, and that's just like free. It's fucking free money, is what it is. And then you have other people who, let's say, manage to start generating revenue, and then fuel that, use some of their income to then advertise. So I would think that would be a useful device as well. If you hit some slump, you might have to throw some of your money back into, advertising or, some kind of sponsorship. But I found, I haven't really found, I did that a couple of times. I've done the Facebook where you can choose to pay to
have your content promoted,
and I didn't see nothing real. I didn't see anything real. Because it didn't result in more YouTube views or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm pretty cynical about this stuff. But and then the last person I interviewed was this guy J.R. Bookwalter. So
you've been busy this last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I've been hustling and still have a bunch of school projects I need to do for this degree I'm working on, but. So this guy J.R. Bookwalter, Sam Raimi funded his first film, and this guy J.R. says it's the worst kept secret in Hollywood because everyone knows now. But Sam Raimi was making the first Evil Dead, and J.R. Bookwalter met him and said he would fund his first film. So and this guy has gone on to make, I don't know, a dozen films. He worked for Full Moon for years. So he produced a ton of films, Witch House 2 and 3 with W. Rashan, and edited a Puppet Master movie, Curse of the Puppet Master. Remember those movies?
Vaguely. Like I said, I wasn't big into like the horror things because they scared me.
Yeah. Right. Well, here's the thing about J.R. Bookwalter. I asked him about having content yanked from Amazon Prime. That happened to him. They pulled his content from Amazon Prime with no real warning, because he was a distributor. He runs this company called Tempe Video, and fairly successful distribution company, and they pulled down his films without warning and without really
any heads up or anything, nothing.
Yeah. And he said there was no rational discernment between if it really was about aesthetic quality. He said none of it made any sense.
But even if the quality is not the greatest, why would you pull content when you already have, unless you're just purging things from your server and you needed server space to free up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I don't see the downside to keeping the content.
I don't get it either. If they had told the distribution companies and the filmmakers what happened, even if they said, "Look, anything with 1 star, we're going to get rid of," I wouldn't like that, but at least I would
You'd understand.
I'd understand
some rationale behind it.
Or if they said, hey, it's purely aesthetic. These films that some of the old Amazon Prime films were ripped directly from DVDs, so they have the interlacing artifacts.
Right.
What's it called? Combing, right? And it looks bad. And I could even understand if they were like, look, we're pulling this. If you can't go from a master and re-upload, you can't re-upload. But they basically have, they said they footprinted the film and you're banned from re-uploading. So it's kind of fucked up. But he's another person who ran a distribution company that totally verified that this is happening. So that was a really cool interview. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all I got. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm just like I said, I'm waiting on Friday. Can't wait to see Endgame. I know you don't care about it.
I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, but you're not gonna be like, I got my popcorn. I got my adult diaper because this is 3 hours long. I'm not moving until I see those final credits.
I was one of the few people to laugh when everyone started dissolving.
That's fucked up.
I was like, ha 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 ha. It was.
That's dark, Tom.
Yeah,
I didn't mind so many of them. The one that kind of got me was Spider-Man. When Spider-Man disappeared,
yeah, that was extra sad. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
that's the one I really laughed on.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
It's like, whatever. They're gonna come back. It's fucking Avengers. Anyway, yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for.
We're gonna hopefully try to get back a little bit more regular with these. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got all next year off. So kind of a random thing. I'm on sabbatical next year from school, so I got literally a year off to kind of putz around. So I'm gonna be doing more podcasts, and hopefully with Tom, or screw him if he doesn't want to. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. I'm your host, Tom Seymour.
Your other host, James Richardson. Man with a plan. Black Bruce Wayne. All that kind of good shit.